simple message to convey.
30 seconds.
In order for our two nations to remain friends, your bases must be removed from our soil.
20 seconds. Stand by studio.
10, 9, 8,
7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
Exactly a year ago, Harry Perkins was elected as Prime Minister with a landslide majority and a radical program that in some people's eyes was as near Marxist as makes no difference. After a year in office, Prime Minister, how fares the revolution?
Well, I think it's been more peaceful and efficient than the average revolution.
We've given gas, electricity, water, telecommunications back to the people. We've created 500,000 proper jobs.
On two.
Health and education are now almost as good as they were in 1979, and soon they'll be better. We've introduced some democracy into the selection of governors of the BBC. As a matter of fact, I think you'll find there's more democracy all round.
With our various worker participation schemes. And, of course, you'll have noticed that the weather has vastly improved.
Nice one, Harry. Very good. Very good.
Well, I'm sure we're all very grateful to you for the mildness of the weather, but if I could turn to the more controversial aspects of your program, there is a view shared by many people in this country that you seem bent on jeopardizing our very special relationship with the United States, quite apart from undermining national security.
Well, if you look behind the hysteria of the tabloids, I think you'll find that I am simply carrying out the policies that I went to the voters with in the election.
Be that as it may, Prime Minister, every junior journalist on every provincial newspaper in the land knows that your cabinet meetings are a shambles when it comes to defense. I mean, some have even turned into shouting matches. At the same time, you face a growing impatience from your own backbenchers.
All my backbenchers are always impatient. I mean, that's their job. It keeps the Prime Minister on his toes.
Own up, Mr. Black. You're caught in a vice, aren't you? I mean, the left and the activists in your party are saying that the energy behind your manifesto promises has run out, and on the other hand, the international community are wondering when you're going to acknowledge the existence of the real world and grasp some concrete political realities.
Okay, we have clearance, studio. Thank you. That's it.
Thank you. Prime Minister, thank you very much indeed.
Hold on.
Thank you very much, Prime Minister.
Always a pleasure appearing on People's Television Channel. Do you still have key of drinks cabinet?
You've anticipated my next question. Would you all like a drink?
Oh, I love a beer, but I've got to see a man about a bomb.
A nuclear warhead is a very delicate instrument. Its effective life is between 4 and 10 years. Then it has to be transported to the Royal Ordnance Factory at Burfield for renewal. The simplest way to dispose of our nuclear weapons would be, therefore, to dismantle each warhead as it arrives at Burfield. Now, if you were to speed up the process, I estimate you could dismantle all the warheads.
Chief Scientific Advisor to the MOD.
3 to 5 years.
Full positive vetting when he left Imperial College in 1964.
You can't.
Last security review 3 years ago. No problem.
But you can make it very difficult and expensive by closing and dispersing the facilities at Aldermaston, at the Royal Ordnance Factory at Cardiff, and ultimately at Burfield.
You are talking purely about a British nuclear arsenal?
Yes.
Anything in the Eastern European connection?
What about the rest of the I can only speculate.
His parents were Polish. There was a query in 1968. Did they really die at Treblinka?
I guess.
Checked out okay.
Political affiliation?
None.
Apparently, one of us.
Hitherto.
After they have gone.
These are strange times.
Storage facilities on the bases. You might consider plowing the land to make fields of corn. But I'm no expert in agriculture.
Is it dangerous?
A field of corn?
Dismantling a nuclear warhead.
It's a precise technical operation, but routinely carried out. Not at all abstract. It's quite practical, really. I've often thought it would make an interesting television program. Or even a media event.
Like a moon landing.
Oh, at least as good as the moon landing.
Hearts and minds.
We meet our chiefs of staff at Chequers this weekend to discuss detailed implementation of our nuclear disarmament program.
Some would say to discuss the detailed implementation of the sellout.
John, my old friend, if you've already written your story, I mean, there's very little point in you coming here at all.
Prime Minister, what further problems do you anticipate with the Americans?
None, but I think they're anticipating some problems with
I
us.
think a lot of people are a little scared by what's going on. Can you tell us what expert advice you're getting?
Oh, certainly. I mean, scientific advice, military advice, and I shall also be seeking the best advice I know.
May we ask what?
Well, I'll be asking the people. I mean, they know best.
Government and defence chiefs assemble at Chequers for the most far-reaching review of Britain's defence policy since the war. It's no secret that there's strong opposition within the armed forces to the government's non-nuclear stance.
Sources
Many
are said
feel
to be
they may
angry
make
at the
a last
timing of
attempt
yesterday's leak.
to persuade the
Said to
more
originate from senior levels in the Ministry of Defence, the document claims that the government's plans to dismantle the British nuclear deterrent will leave the country defenceless against nuclear blackmail from the Eastern Bloc countries.
As on land, we face the prospect of total domination by Warsaw Pact forces.
And whilst, of course, continuing to implement loyally the government's wishes, I'd be failing in my duty if I conceal from you our very real concern about our ability to provide an effective defence of the realm into the next decade.
Thank you, Chief Marshal. Questions?
If I may, these impressive visual aids, they indicate the presumed strength of the two sides in the event of a war between the Western powers and the Warsaw Pact countries.
They do.
Where is France?
France.
You don't seem to have included the French armed forces in your calculation.
France is not a member of NATO command, madam. You'll
If
recall...
Russia invaded Western Europe, I think France would be on our side, don't you?
Well, I met the French Prime Minister last week. He seems quite amiable.
with respect, I hardly think that that's the point.
Moving on. The figures for the Americans seem on the low side.
We've included all American troops based in Europe.
What about the American forces based in the United States and earmarked for Europe in the event of an emergency?
We haven't included them. It's a difficult number to quantify, and
Well, perhaps you could ask them. Moving on again. And this may seem a silly question, but is it true that in calculating the strength of the two sides, on the Western side you include only military personnel?
Yes, that's true.
But in calculating the Soviet forces, you seem to include people involved in catering, secretarial work, education, building and maintenance, doctors and nursing staff. Is that so?
It's difficult to be precise when dealing with Warsaw
Well, I would
Pact.
have thought that precision was very important in matters of these kinds.
Moving on.
Thank you. No need to thank me. I am professionally familiar with the effects of nuclear weapons. You know, it's difficult to contemplate nuclear war on a daily basis with anything approaching equanimity.
You must have been lonely in the MOD.
I have spent my life trying to make deterrence work. I know the system to be unstable, temporary, and morbid. I mean, dismantling obsolete delivery systems is a tiny step, but it creates a false sense of security. I have waited quarter of a century for a British government with the courage to do the job completely, to do it rationally. The warheads themselves. It is I who should thank you. Besides, I retire in 2 years' time. I shall write long and boring books that nobody will read, travel the world giving lectures that nobody will understand. A good way to live a life, yes?
We'll come to your lectures.
And read the books.
In paperback. Half a century ago, when the nuclear age was born, Albert Einstein warned us that we must learn a new way of thinking. It has taken us a long time. Today, at last, I'm proud to say that this country has learned the lesson. In 2 weeks' time, at the Royal Ordnance Factory in Burgfield, experts will dismantle and destroy a 1 megaton Polaris warhead. With this action, we will also be dismantling the idea that our freedom somehow depends on the fear of annihilation. It is an absurd and obscene idea. We want no part of it. There's no secrecy to what we're doing. The warhead, and in due course of time, the rest of our nuclear arsenal, will be disarmed and dismantled in full public view, live and on national television. We shall do so without fear, but with much pride.
Harry Perkins preaches about equality.
There's nothing wrong with that. We all believe in equality, etc., etc. New paragraph. We believe in equality between people. We also believe in equality between nations. Harry Perkins does not. Harry Perkins has turned Great Britain into a fifth-rate power.
New paragraph. Other nations once trembled at the sight of the Union Jack coming over the horizon. Germany, Italy, and Argentina, to name but three, but not anymore. Now we are a laughing stock.
But why are you reading me all this? I mean, I've already passed CSE English. That's too formal.
Because of the last paragraph.
Well, then read me the last paragraph.
The people voting for the British Labour Party, we respect that decision, although we do not necessarily agree with it. It is a question of leadership. In the hands of a man like Lawrence Wainwright...
Wainwright?
It's the old favourite. A leadership crisis thinly disguised as a plea for moderation. That's not very original.
I once tried middle of the road. I was knocked down by traffic in both directions.
And we follow it up with an opinion poll.
Saying what?
Ideally, 65% say we want Wainwright.
We want Wainwright. Has a good ring to it.
Now, that almost sounds as if you're calling on Harry Perkins to resign.
I think that's called putting words in people's mouths.
Well, you can't expect a prime minister with a healthy majority to resign in mid-term. That would be human nature. Prime ministers are human, after all.
Perhaps not. But Anthony Eden resigned in the 1950s when he had a very solid majority in Parliament.
1 minute.
A prime minister must
Then it's
assess
the weather
his
and
duty and
commercials.
responsibilities in terms of the period in which he works.
I think we might manage an overrun.
He must have a strong sense of history.
On 4, 2 next.
It is rather important.
Yes, even of destiny.
In a pompous sort of way.
There is a view shared by many people in this country.
They're pulling every stroke in the book.
What, boring us to death with George Fison?
Anthony Eden resigned because he was ill.
He didn't say Perkins was ill.
No, but he compared him to Eden. Strike one.
My mother telephoned today.
Oh, wonderful. We're surrounded by conspirators, traitors, and assorted spies, and your mother telephoned today. How are things in the gazebo, anyway?
She told me that Daddy had told her that Uncle Percy made a secret visit to the President while he was in Washington.
I see. What?
Sir Percy Brown, Cabinet Office.
If it's a secret visit, how come your father knew about it?
There are no secrets between old Etonians.
Jesus Christ. This is high treason.
No, just treason. It's only high treason if you're at war.
With this action, we shall be saying to our children and to our grandchildren and to their children to come, the road from Hiroshima stopped here.
of this newspaper question the Prime Minister's sincerity. But it is now imperative that we question his judgment.
Sanity.
Sanity. He claims a worldwide audience of millions for his media circus extravaganza in Burfield. It would be instructive to know what the viewing figures were in Moscow.
I looked out the window this morning expecting to see the sky black with Russian paratroops. Result? Nothing.
So you're not the tool of the Kremlin, then?
I have enough trouble trying to be the tool of Sheffield. Yes.
Prime Minister, can you introduce the Sheikh? How do you do?
May I have a minute of your time, Mr. James?
By all means. I've checked his medical records for the last 20 years. He really is as healthy as he claims to be.
Nothing hereditary or incipient?
Nothing.
So be it.
What about mental problems? Paranoia?
Sensitive area. Remember Wilson. We must be circumspect about telling lies.
As Secretary of State Morgan arrives at Chequers for hard-hitting talks with the British, the chairman of the Senate Armed Forces Committee has called on the U.S. to send a clear signal to the Perkins government that it will not tolerate any repetition of what he called last week's dangerous confusion of TV showbiz with the vital defense of the West. Senator McDowell was speaking at a reception in Washington. Today's talks will center on the controversial issue of U.S. bases in Britain.
Gentlemen, in this afternoon's session, I intend to present to you not vague, woolly or pious suggestions, but concrete proposals about precisely what should happen to which bases, how it should happen, and when. I'm sure you will treat them with the seriousness they merit. Now, this morning, may I outline the present situation? I draw your attention to a map of the British Isles. My experts tell me that we have an understanding. On close examination, this understanding is a note dated October 1951, prepared by a British ambassador in Washington and initialed by an American Undersecretary of State, which says, the use of the bases in an emergency will be a matter of joint decision, quote, in the light of circumstances prevailing at the time, which means you could do what the hell you like. When did you hear?
2 or 3 minutes ago, the police telephoned.
Tell Sir Percy Brown I want him in my office. Now. Tell him. Sir Montague Kowalski, Chief Scientific Advisor to the Ministry of Defense, and my Chief Scientific Advisor at this conference, was killed on his way here this morning. His car was hit by a train at an unguarded level crossing.
I'm very sorry to hear that, Prime Minister. I didn't know Sir Montague well, but...
But you had a file on him.
Everyone who works for the Ministry of Defense has to have security clearance.
You know he believed passionately in nuclear disarmament. You know that? Why so reticent? It's your job to know things like that.
I was aware of his feelings. I was also aware that he always maintained a proper scientific objectivity in his work.
I'm very glad you were aware of that, Sir Percy.
Presumably you want our people to carry out a full inquiry?
No.
Into the circumstances of the accident?
I'll ask the police to do that. Career uniformed officers only. I want you people to keep your noses out. And the special branch as well.
I see.
And however implausible it may seem, if there's the merest hint that any of your people were involved in creating this accident, even at the level of an overzealous freelance operator, I shall want your immediate resignation.
The Chief Constable? Yeah, okay. 2 seconds. A man called Williamson. Right, let me check. Yes, he's a friend. Yeah, of course, yes. I'll do that immediately.
The Cabinet Secretary suggested I should come here and talk to you.
Yes, Sir James telephoned me.
It's probably very trivial.
Just give me the details, Mr. Tweed. The department will assess its triviality.
As you know, I see most of the Prime Minister's mail when it arrives each day.
And throughout your career, you've maintained an impeccable record in matters of confidentiality. We know that. But Mr. Perkins is not like other Prime Ministers. And you must tell us what you know.
Well, there seems to be a woman in his life.
Name?
Helen.
And what does she do, this Helen?
A greetings card when he was elected, another on the anniversary of his election, another on his birthday, each time with a pressed flower and the message, much love from Helen.
Just a left-wing groupie.
She also telephoned one day. I happened to pick up the phone. Clearly the switchboard girl had instructions to put the call straight through.
Helen.
I took the liberty of retrieving 2 of the envelopes.
Thank you.
And I also checked the telephone number.
Well, Mr. Tweed, as you say, it might be very trivial.
I realize that.
But you've acted with great propriety, if I may say so.
Thank you.
She sends him flowers?
Apparently.
You don't have one of those flowers, do you?
No, sir.
Never mind. Investigate gently. Sexual peccadillo never comes amiss.
I've had the report on Kowalski's accident. The police say there was a short circuit on the level crossing. The first time that this has ever happened. And it just happens to kill the one man we needed most at the moment.
Don't let the bastards grind you down.
Oh, they do, comrade, they do.
Harry, I mean it. Don't let them.
Sorry, comrade. Back to work.
Would you believe Our Lady of the Flowers is something in the city? Helen Jarvis, formerly Helen Spence. She and her husband run an investment trust in the city.
Strange company for Perkins.
I gather it's an ideologically sound investment trust.
What on earth does that mean?
Broadly speaking, they don't invest money in anything that involves armaments or insecticides or paying low wages to black people.
One wonders how they survive.
Apparently, there's a demand for pristine profit. All those people who read The Independent. They have an office in the city and a house in Camden. Helen Jarvis always travels by public transport. Michael Jarvis spends a lot of time out of the country looking for honest investment opportunities. He never flies first class.
They sound tediously correct.
There is a brighter side.
Good.
The Jarvis Trust helped set up the Perkins loan.
Really?
And took a commission from the Moscow State Clearing Bank.
But nothing illegal?
Nothing illegal. Most of this is from the national computer.
You seem to be offering me 2 paragons of absolute virtue. And once in a while, the woman sends him a flower. It's tough to topple governments, Mr. Fiends.
It rather depends on how one views the objective circumstances.
The eye of the beholder.
Precisely.
I have a very simple message to convey. The same message I gave you when we began these talks 3 weeks ago. And forgive me if I bore you with a repetition. In order for our two nations to remain friends, your bases must be removed from our soil.
We hear what you're saying. But in the real world of what is technically feasible and logistically possible, these things take time.
We have in mind 18 months.
Look, we're prepared to negotiate on months, but the number of years is 5. And they can still be friends, Harry.
Well, I have an open and honest disagreement with the Prime Minister about Labour's defence policy. The Labour Party does allow open and honest disagreement. Not about ideals, we all agree about those, but about ways and means.
You shit.
It's all too easy to be seduced by emotional rhetoric and showbiz images. But in the real world of nuclear weapons and the delicate balance between East and West, I'm afraid realities are harder to face. We can only go forward with the support and understanding of our allies in the Western world. See, socialism is about more than dreams.
Let me put it this way. In the late 1970s, Perkins had an affair with a woman. Last year, the same woman was at the heart of a financial rescue that saved Perkins from political disaster.
But you said yourself there was nothing illegal.
It isn't a question of illegality. It's more a question of appearances. And, though I know you hate the word, packaging.
I hate the word.
As much as you hate Perkins.
On the contrary, he's a very affable fellow.
Thank you, sister. Marvellous. Thank you for very kind.
No, he's not bleeding it all. Neither is he poorly nor is he unwell. Come on, Dave. Do me a favour. I've seen you look worse on a Monday morning. You know, there's absolutely no story. Thank you.
As I have told you many times, I have a full medical check every 6 months, and yesterday was the day.
Can you tell us what the results
Now, in the time-honoured prime ministerial phrase, I have here a piece of paper proclaiming my 100% fitness. Copies of this are available for inspection at no cost. Now, moving on. The press and media legislation.
Protest too much.
How is Lawrence Wainwright's health, Prime Minister?
Well, I haven't discussed that with
Have you
him lately.
discussed defence policy?
Or his challenge for the party leadership?
Sorry, comrades, no comment on that. Now, the press monopolies legislation
We were
we're
promised
introducing.
open government, no secrecy, access for the people. May we have a copy of your health certificate, Prime Minister?
Can you tell us what's wrong?
That's the 3rd time this year he's pulled that gag. I have here a piece of paper.
The magic fades. It was the same with Disraeli.
We're losing the initiative. We're losing the momentum.
We'll discuss everything in Cabinet at the proper time.
Including our election pledges.
Came at ours this evening, comrade?
I'd love to, believe me, but I'm taking this to the reopening of the Barbican.
And bugger off then.
That's only half the story. When do I get the other half? On the back burner, I understand. Well, as you know, I am the soul of discretion.
I can't tell a lie.
That's always been your problem, Margaret.
But if our involvement were to emerge...
We're talking about the British. They're not allowed to read their own history until 30 years after the event.
Heavily edited.
Therefore?
I think it's all systems go.
Unless there are strong objections.
Harvey, don't do that.
I'm not doing anything.
Don't.
I'm not doing anything, honest.
Mrs. Jarvis?
Yes?
Mrs. Helen Jarvis?
Yes?
You must forgive my bothering you at the weekend, but I wonder if you might spare me a few minutes.
Of course. Come in. Would you like to go through into the living room? I need a couple of minutes with the washing machine. It's through there. Would you like some tea?
Thank you. Before you were married, you were Helen Spence.
Spencer, not Spence.
Spencer? Really?
I clearly remember being born with the name of Spencer.
Forgive me, a computer error on my part.
You didn't come here on a Sunday morning to check my name.
It's a little more complicated than that. Perhaps the simplest way would be if I tell you what I know. I know that in 1977 you spoke at a conference in Derbyshire on alternative economic policies.
Alternative economic strategies.
I'm sorry.
Another computer error?
At that conference, you met Harry Perkins and started an affair that continued for several weeks.
I don't think that's any of your business.
I know that you and Mr. Perkins spent a weekend together at an hotel in Windermere in October of 1977. I know that in 1978 you met Michael Jarvis and regular contact with Harry Perkins ceased. In 1979 you married Michael Jarvis. The Jarvis Trust, one might say.
What else do you know?
I know that you sent greetings cards to the Prime Minister at Downing Street. I know that upstairs you have a box containing letters from Harry Perkins. Presents, including a book, The Ragged Trousered Philanthropist.
You could only know that if you
I also have
used.
grounds for believing that you and your husband supplied Harry Perkins with information about dealings in the city over the 2-year period prior to the election.
If you know all these things, why come calling on a Sunday morning?
To recommend silence and discretion, whatever happens during the days and weeks ahead.
Thank you for agreeing to see me, Prime Minister.
I'd like to make myself available to the voters, Sir Percy.
I tried to indicate on the telephone what it was about.
An indiscretion. I suspect I have a very clear picture in my mind of what you have in your mind.
Have you?
You've discovered I had an affair with Ellen Spencer, who later became wife and partner to Michael Jarvis. Their company helped secure the loan that saved my administration.
But what about the payments?
Jarvis Trust was paid commission at the standard professional rate.
Not those payments, Prime Minister. The payments to you.
There were no payments to me.
You must understand, Prime Minister, that I am here purely as a bearer of messages. I was asked to show you these bank statements.
I can show you my bank statements. I'm with the co-op. Current account, deposit account, both healthy. Job pays well. This is ridiculous. I mean, I've joked about Tories with Swiss bank accounts, but I've never seen a bank statement from one. This must add up to...
£300,000. I've often joked about Labour leaders being in the pay of the Kremlin, but I've never actually seen a prima facie example.
These are forgeries, of course. But that's not the point, is it? Your people did the same thing to Ted Short. By the time you prove anything, damage is done. And of course, you have no alternative but to accept the evidence as is presented to you.
Exactly.
Is all this accompanied with a proposition?
Yes.
May I hear it?
There are zealous, in my view, overzealous people in my department who would like to leak all this to the press. I find the idea distasteful.
Tell me what you find tasteful, Sir Percy.
Resignation on grounds of ill health.
I see. And the ground has been carefully prepared. Our will is Harry Perkins. And 65% of the people would like Lawrence Wainwright as Prime Minister. I've got to hand it to you people. You win the prize for efficiency and elegance.
It combines dignity with tact. And I'm sure you will give it a great deal of style.
In South America, they'd call this a coup d'etat.
But no firing squad. No torture or retribution, no bloodshed. A very British coup, wouldn't you say?
And Monte Kowalski? Annette Newsom? Do I frighten you all that much? Me? Harry Perkins, a steel worker from Sheffield?
Yes. You do. You're a bad dream. I could always comfort myself with the thought that socialism would never work because it's always been in the hands of bungling incompetents, trimmers, compromisers.
People you could control from within.
But you, Mr. Perkins, could destroy everything I've ever believed in.
And your father before you. And his father before him.
Yea, even unto the Middle Ages. You show alarming signs of turning into a major statesman.
And you can't allow that. You and your ancestors. Ill health.
There are many honorable precedents.
Just when I was getting used to the savage abuse of power. You and your ancestors have got yourselves a deal, Sir Percy. You'll forgive me if I don't shake hands on it.
Gentleman's agreement.
Don't forget, I have ancestors too.
I've never written anything of historical importance before.
Sir Percy Brown inherited a country house, 50,000 acres, property in London, and a noble profile. I inherited a shaving mug from my grandfather. What we do with our inheritance, that, you might say, is the question. Comrades, that should make them listen.
Comrades and friends? Belt and braces?
Stand by, auto cue.
Stand by, studio,
Reset now
30
on your opening
seconds.
paragraph. They'll be coming to us from network control in about 25 seconds from now.
Right, settle down now. Nice and quiet, studio.
20 seconds.
This is BBC One. And now follows a special Prime Ministerial broadcast by the Right Honourable Harry Perkins MP.
10 seconds.
This broadcast
9,
is also being seen
8,
on BBC Two,
7,
ITV,
6,
Channel 4,
5,
and on all cable and
4.
satellite networks. The Prime Minister.
Comrades and friends, I have in front of me a machine called an auto cue, a speech which I wrote earlier today, which has been circulated to all the major broadcasting organizations and newspapers of the world, has been fed into that auto cue. The speech says that I am resigning because of ill health. I'm not going to read it to you.
He can't do
The
this.
truth is that there's nothing wrong
This
with
is
my health.
absolutely ridiculous.
The truth is that I intend to see the
Using a
king
ministerial broadcast.
to ask him to dissolve Parliament. That is in order to hold a general election in this country.
Fade to black.
With permission of my good friends Michael and Ellen Jarvis, I'm going to tell you why I've been forced into the position of making this speech at all.
Sit down, Mr. Alford.
To coin a phrase, I'm going to tell you the truth. The whole truth. And nothing but the truth.
He can't do that. He's the Prime Minister.
It may be that the Times newspaper will once again call me a simple-minded fool, as it did during the general election campaign, but so be it. If it is simple-minded and foolish to think that a Prime Minister should tell the truth, then to be sure, I am a simple-minded fool. The truth. In 1977, I had a brief affair with a young woman called Ellen Spencer. Her name is now Ellen Jarvis. The affair was sweet, tender, and short-lived. 2 days ago, I had a visit from a senior civil servant who passed on to me accusations of corruption involving the Jarvis Trust, the Moscow State Clearing Bank, but chiefly myself. I am accused of receiving £300,000 paid into bank accounts I never knew existed, with the implication that this money came directly from the Soviet government. Since that meeting, I have had information from a good friend in a foreign government, indicating how that money was paid and by whom. I'm calling an immediate public inquiry into these allegations of treason and corruption. And the people who made the allegations will be called upon to testify publicly as to their evidence, their sources, and motives. I'm calling a general election for June the 11th, because there is a much more important issue at stake here than the future of Harry Perkins, steelworker from Sheffield. You, the people, must decide whether you prefer to be ruled by an elected government or by people you've never heard of, people you've never voted for, people who remain quietly behind the scenes, generation after generation, yea, even unto the Middle Ages.
Who will free me from this turbulent priest?
I heard what you did tonight. Thank you.
With respect, sir, I don't actually vote for him, but I know what's right.
Such
Such are the days that shall be. But what are the deeds of today? In the days of the years we dwell in, that wear our lives away. Why then, and for what are we waiting? There are but 3 words to speak. We will it. And what is the foeman but the dreams strong wakened and weak?
Are you ready? The vultures are gathering outside.
Soon.
Your granddad's.
I always use it on polling day. The bastards killed him. I shall have them for it yet.
Are you going to win?
Well, all I can do is tell the truth. Let the people decide.
You're a bugger for letting the people decide. Do you think it'll ever catch on? A landslide.
This is the BBC World Service. The headlines at 0600 GMT. In Chile, the death toll in the Santiago earthquake has risen to 200. In London, the political upheaval of the last 3 weeks following the recent adjournment of Parliament appears to be drawing to a close. A statement on behalf of the authorities at Buckingham Palace will be issued later this morning, which is expected to clarify the constitutional situation. World stock markets responded favorably to yesterday's announcement by